They say that every house tells a story. Well, this is certainly true for the houses on Mystery Street. Let's find out why. The street is located in Salem, Massachusetts. And its name was inspired by the fact that it is just a stone's throw away from where the infamous witch trials took place. But that's not what makes the street mysterious. That would be the houses. The houses on the street have no numbers. All of them are unassuming gray, and they all look alike except for one, house number 0. And it wasn't always like this. And ring the bell so you'll be notified every time a new video is posted. When the street was first built, each house got a number. In fact, she was so beautiful that when the local minister saw her, he said, "There's a girl who will break the hearts of many a young man." And he was right. And when Eliza was pregnant with her third child, she and Joseph decided to move into a bigger house. They bought the biggest house on the corner of Mystery and Witchcraft Street. The house had once belonged to a sea captain, and it was here that their third daughter was born. They named her Hattie after her father's hat shop. But after a while, it was decided that the numbering system should start over at the corner of Mystery and Witchcraft Street. Joseph wasn't really a husband or a father. He didn't work, so he spent most of his time drinking heavily and beating both Eliza and her daughters. Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss any new videos. I'll see you next time on the channel. Then she took her surviving daughters and moved back in with her parents. The house sat empty for a while, then it was sold. When Eliza would try to leave him, he would threaten to kill her, so she stayed, and tragically. Their youngest daughter Hattie died at the age of 4. The new house looked exactly the same as all the other houses on the street, except for one thing, it had no house number. The new owners simply chose to ignore the history of the house and the previous owner's tragic end. And they weren't the only ones. So numbers 1 through 6 were scratched off the first 6 houses and replaced with the numbers 1 through 6 again. But what happened to house No. 0? John was a hatter by trade, which these days we would call a hat maker. But after living there for a few years, they decided to move out. To this day, nobody knows why they left. Some say they couldn't take the creepy vibes from the house, while others claim that they saw the ghost of Joseph Clark, who roamed the halls at night looking for his one true love, Eliza. But working with hats was more than just a job for John. It was a passion. He had a small shop in town where he made and sold his famous turnstile hats. To this day, the house stands empty, and many believe that whoever moves in next will be doomed to suffer the same fate as the Clarks. Business was good. His hats were in high demand, and he was able to move his family into a bigger house on the corner of Mystery and Witchcraft Street. Who lived there and why did they remove their house number? Well, the answer can be found inside. But before we go any further, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss any new videos. In the 1830s, a man named John Turner moved into the house with his wife and daughter. John's daughter Eliza was only 2 years old when they moved in, but she grew up quickly and soon became known around town for her beauty and charm. When Eliza was 19, she met a traveling salesman named Joseph Clark. They fell in love almost immediately and decided to get married. But there was just one problem. Joseph wasn't exactly the marrying type. He had been engaged several times before, but had left all of his fiancées at the altar. Eliza's father wasn't thrilled about the idea of his darling daughter being next in line, but she was adamant. She wanted to marry Joseph, and she did. The two were married for a year before having their first child, a baby girl they named Sarah. Soon after, they had another daughter, Mary. It seems like everything was going well for the young family, but behind closed doors, things were very different. After burying her daughter, Eliza snapped. She took a hatchet and killed her husband. Sometime later, a new family moved in, and they were given house number 0. Now, this is where things get really weird. After the family moved out, the house was demolished, and in its place was built a brand new house. Over the years, the house has changed hands several times, but nobody ever gave it a new number. Do you think the house is cursed? Why do you think the family who lived there removed the house number? And do you know of any other mysterious streets?